Good afternoon. Welcome to FMA Discussion. This is episode 514, and today we have Guru Mike. I don't know this guy, but I figured, somebody said, why don't you get him on? They felt sorry for him. Just kidding. No. So, fellow is under Burton. Who's that guy? But at any rate, without further ado, if you are watching, please tell us where you're watching from. Smash the like button. If you have questions and they're not within the context we're talking about, I will jot them down. I just might not ask them right away. So, okay. Without further ado, here he is.
Hey, Dean. Oh, here we go. Everyone.
Hey
Hey,
there.
hey, Dean. How's it going? Thanks for having me on.
So today, it's going to be focused on you. We're really not going to get into the olive oil business and the all that stuff.
Yeah, the money laundering and the
But I think the folks need to know that you're a capo. So,
yeah.
but at any rate, let's kick it off. So I thought the folks would be neat to hear, kind of like your FMA journey or whatever. We'll start with your martial arts journey.
Sure.
What got you in FMA? Who, where, when, and all that. So let's start out with FM martial art journey. Would you start? Did you start like us old guys, like kind of traditional classical system initially, and then
I
segue?
Yeah, actually, in the '90s, I took Hapkido karate from these guys. They're the guys that own Pro Boxing. If you heard of that company,
I have
they had a
heard of that.
school. They had a school in Canoga Park. I went down there to buy some bag gloves. And next thing you know, I'm like jumping into their kickboxing class and doing karate and it was weird because at the time they also had like a grappling class because one of the brothers was like a wrestler from Afghanistan and they had like a grappling class which was right around the time where like the UFC was
Oh,
really
93s.
yeah like 92 90 it was like right around there and so I tried the grappling class and didn't know what I was doing and was just basically getting my ass handed. Yeah, yeah, choked out every second. And at the time I was still in college, so I mean it was a cheap class. It was like 20. It was like $50 a month. It was really cheap to train there. And then when I graduated and got a job and all that, I was like, I want to learn um, Jeet Kune Do. I really wanted to learn Jeet Kune Do, right? So the local school that's been there for years, Magda Institute, is where I first started under Cass Magda, and that was
Gotcha.
in 2000.
Yeah.
So I was with Guru Cass from like 2000 to 2020, basically, like almost almost 20 years.
Oh, I didn't. I knew you were with him. I had no idea that you were with him that long. Wow.
Yeah, I was with him. Learned JKD, his style of Silat, his Filipino martial arts, which is Dan Inasano. He was a student of Dan Inasano,
Yeah,
and
San blend,
yeah,
right?
Inasano blend a lot of Viabril, Argusa, Bahalana, Inasano blend, Silat under Paul Detours. So like a lot of the Bukti Nagara, Sarak, Herman Sawanda stuff,
Mm.
and the JKD. So that was like 20 years. I was teaching there. I was on his staff, probably
Oh,
15
no kidding. All right. So
years.
you were.
And then I left there in 2020, like right before the pandemic. And then the pandemic happened, and it's like all training and everything stopped.
I
Uh,
know. Shut down,
we were
right?
just what was I doing? I was like riding the Peloton bike at home and trying to stay in shape and um, but I met Guru Alvin Katakutan from Pamanakali. He's the head of Pamanakali. He, among others, were said, "Hey, we're shut down, but we're going to teach online." Right? I have an online class, and I
Okay.
wanted,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, and I wanted my kids to stay active. So I said, "Hey, can I my kids try your class out?" So I had them jump on the online Zoom class. It was fun for them, and then Guru Alvin was like, "Hey, we have an adult class too," and I was like, "Hey, why not? Let me try it out." That's kind of weird, like doing Zoom Kali online, but I'll try it out. And Guru Conrad came in, was teaching that class. Shout out to Guru Conrad. Um, so he was teaching that class, and I had a lot of fun with it. And right around that time, I was also talking to Guru Burton Richardson because he
Who's,
was teaching.
who's that?
Yeah, some guy out in Hawaii. Yeah, he was teaching, like, like the Battlefield. I think Battlefield Kali was his first.
His
Uh,
first thing that he came out, if I'm not mistaken, far as the weapon programs, I think was the stick, if I'm not mistaken.
yes, Battlefield Kali, and then he would do little videos like single sticks in a solo Sinawali or
Mm.
double sticks in a Wally, and he'd be like at the beach. And
Yeah, I know. He's got a rough life, huh?
so
Gosh.
yeah, I started also training. I enrolled in his CLOT for the Street program and completed that. And then, when things got started opening up again after the
Mm.
pandemic, or right around like a year or so in, um, I started training again. I started training at Pomona Kali in Torrance. Um, I had some people that were actually training with me in my backyard. I had a little backyard group of maybe like 5 people. And then that backyard group, overnight, more people wanted to train. And I just don't have a big backyard. So we moved it to a park, a local park. So I had a Sunday morning park group, which went from 5 people to like 20 people, like in a matter of like 2 weeks. All these people wanting to get out,
Yeah,
train.
finally want to get out of the house, and yeah.
Um, so that started that. Then I started training with Guru Burton. Um, my family and I went out to Hawaii. We stayed with them.
Mm.
I trained every day for like a week, a couple hours a day, then go down to the beach. And so, that was like the journey to what led me up to now. Back up. And then like a couple years in, I had to go. It was like maybe 2 years ago. Um, my grandmother turned 100. She's in the Philippines. She had passed away last year, but I had to go to her birthday, her 100-year
Oh
birthday.
my God, I guess so. Yeah.
And it was just like a week. I was just went there just to go to her party.
Mm.
And while I was there, I met up with Brandon Ricketts, Guru Brandon. I met him. We
I don't know
trained.
him.
Yeah, you know that guy. And we trained, and next thing you know, I'm doing KI now. I've been doing KI with him now ever since, for the last couple years. He came out here, hosted him for a seminar. We still continue to train, online, and talk all the time. And so I'm like the KI guy of the San Fernando Valley. Um, and that's it. Yeah. I also do jujitsu on the side for fun. I don't know if that's fun. Getting being a 50-year-old guy, getting getting choked out and armbarred all the time by the
Getting your
nails.
body manipulated and all that fun stuff.
But it's
And
fun. I do my jujitsu. That's my lunch break. Three to four times a week.
that's
My wife
good.
and I will go
Yeah, I
down
mean,
there
just to,
and
I do
train.
it for maintenance. God forbid if I get taken to the ground. I mean, you got to know. I mean, come on, you got to at least look at it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, oh, I don't need that stuff. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
you know, we got some folks here watching. Who's Janelle?
Oh man, that's hi Janelle.
Who's? I mean, who's that? I don't know. Actually, I would like to get her back on. Actually,
She's
um,
awesome. I mean, their style. It's like one of the instructors under Alvin is this guy named Eneli Mafu. He's amazing. He's this Tongan guy who's just like in phenomenal shape, and for how big and muscular he is. I never seen anyone really move like him. Him and his brother. And Janelle is part of that system. She runs the SBL for North America.
I
So
just
she's
need. I like to get her back on. I mean, she seems to be a gray sweatpants fan.
yeah,
So I just gravitate towards
she's in
that. So I
sweatpants
mean, I don't
wearer.
care what she's got. I mean, so I mean that.
Yeah,
That,
she's amazing. And we met at the Magda Institute, so we go back. We've been friends for years. So
yeah,
you
I'm gonna get more. I gotta
know,
get back into the female track.
yeah.
Marshall Ned was taking me away from FMA discussion, so I'm trying to make a kind of like a happy balance there. So
Mhm.
unusual time and day for a time for an episode. Yeah, just sometimes Maynard and I do daytime episodes if it works out for both of us. Sometimes it actually makes it easier. I mean, there you go, sweatpants fanatic. You know what I mean? So I mean that right there will constitute bringing her on. You know what I mean? Forget about a martial art journey. I mean, just the fact that she's a fanatic, there's enough justification for me to bring her back on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go back. I want to just back up a bit. You brought some good stuff in there. So when you were with Guru Magda, under the Insano blend, I'm just curious, no right or wrong answer here. Like what system under his blend resonated with you? You mentioned Bill Brill, there is her own. I'm sure there was some Kabbalahs in there, whatever. But like, was there a particular system that really spoke to you within that blend that he identified?
Um, when I first started training there, I was really like, I want to learn Jeet Kune Do. I was like a Bruce Lee
So you
fan.
weren't even like going as far as FMA. It was that
I
a
was
kind of a
not. I mean,
byproduct.
I'm Filipino, so I was kind of like, oh, that's
Oh,
cool.
you
That
are? Oh, I wasn't sure.
yeah. So I was like, oh, that's a added bonus. I get to learn, Filipino martial arts, and then it became, well, now I want to learn all Filipino martial arts, right? And it's like the Inasano blend. So he has a advanced class where the focus is really Via Brill,
Hmm.
Lagusa, Numerado, like the chicken step, all
Silverado.
the different stuff, right? And
Yeah.
I really really enjoy doing that. Also the Bahalana system that he does there. With the Inasano groups, depending on when you train with him, is what like the main focus will be
Yeah,
depending
I
on.
gotta tell you, like what was he working on during that decade, right?
Mhm.
Like
So
early on, man, you gotta stay diet PTK, right?
yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
So the guys that I met from Inasano that were late, like the latter guys,
Yeah,
they're mainly PTK, right?
that's
Is
right.
like
I mean, I was mostly got PTK and Kabbalist, but
yeah.
yeah,
I didn't get Kabbalist stuff.
I got a little of it. I
Yeah,
say, I'm not. Yeah, I mean, but in all fairness, the majority was definitely PTK centric. Yeah.
but like the generation, I think even the generation with like Chris Kent when he was there, they did more Kabbalist. They did more Sarada stuff.
I think the Kabbalists in Haron were the early ones,
Hmm.
and then Guy Hay started coming, and I think there was a shift. I mean, like if
Yeah.
you look at Hubit Lubit and all that, I mean, I think that's your PTK. You know what I mean? Um,
In Asano, Grudan is doing Balintwa now. He was
yeah, with Attilo, right?
Yeah, I think so, and I know he was training at Barnesdale Park with GM Nene Kagu. I'll butcher his last name, but like GM Nene, and I trained a couple times with him. He has a great group too. I just couldn't find the time to make it on Saturdays at the park, like down in LA. But yeah, I mean, Guru Dan's he's had so many instructors. It's like I lost track. He knows
Absolutely,
what
an
now.
insanity.
Yeah.
To have all that information and like what you're giving out, I couldn't even imagine.
Mhm.
Yeah. So okay.
And then back to your question, when I was shown the C lot, that was just like over my head.
When
Like
you were initially shown it from Cass's lens,
yes,
that's funny you
I,
mention that because I'm going to let you finish. I'm going to give you my initial take. And
yeah, it was definitely different. Like the levers and like all the different ways of taking someone down, right? It was very difficult. And then with an experienced guy, you would like feed him a punch and it feels like you're just stepping in a hole. You're just falling all the time.
and
And I was like, I want to learn how to make people feel,
actually make people fall.
yeah. And so I went into, I really was just like, okay, I want to focus on CLAT. So I don't know what the time period is, but somewhere in there, I was like, my focus was like, okay, I want to learn the CLAT stuff. And
Yeah.
he taught a traditional class with, jurus and walking
Bits
and
and
all the, all the levers. Then
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and what's amazing is, you started training with Burton, and then you could see the differences, right,
That's
from their instructor. Um,
yeah, and it's interesting you bring that up because I always looked at Sea Lot outside from afar, and I was always intrigued. But what I could not, because at that time I was working with still do grapplers,
mhm.
um, kind of perfecting my hand against knife, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, "There's no way this stuff is going to work like against these guys." I'm
Mhm.
like, based, but now, but mind you, based on what I was seeing, right? Like how they were going about stuff, and I didn't see really the contact and the pressure. And of course, at that time, I wouldn't be able to articulate this way I can now, but basically, I didn't see the off balancing. So one
Right.
day I'm talking with Burton, and somehow it came up, and I'm basically telling him like what I'm telling you right now. He says, "No, my program has no sambas and all that. It's all about." And so,
Mhm.
best decision I've ever made was to take it on him because then it became so illuminating where I think it's one of his best programs out of the box. I mean, but it's funny. So I did this program. Um, Matter of fact, a lot of my students are doing it. Um, so I go to him one day. I go, hey, I'm just out of curiosity. Maybe I should like do the Jews and Sambits. He goes, yeah, we can do that. So I started doing them, and like 3 lessons in, he goes, Dean, this is not you. Like he had this is why I respect him. He goes, he had the honesty. He goes, Dean, you're a this is not you. Like,
Yeah.
just keep doing your fucking. But he could have just said, oh yeah, you know what I mean. But he had, you know what I mean. Like that integrity, like that really stood out to me. You know what I mean? Like,
And that's the thing with Guru Burton's program. If you're an experienced Silat person, and if you're looking for jurus and sambuts and like walking the cross and all the different walking tiga and all this stuff, and then you do his program, you're going to be like, wait a minute, this is totally different, right? Because he's very functional and pressure testing, which I also found difficult to in sparring because we would spar and we'd be like try your J. Sometimes you can make trapping work, right? Sometimes you can't. All right, now try adding the sweeps and the sapus and the besets in your live sparring, and it was like it was hard, right? Like people are looking out for it; they know it's coming. Um, and what Burton does is the way he presents it is he puts it in, and I think this is like the JKD thing. He puts it in a way where you can drill it. So now you're practicing CLOT with the pressure testing already in the drill. So
yeah,
you're not just like feeding a punch and then doing whatever entry
doing all your magic while the
and
punch
doing
is
all
still
this
out
magic
there.
while you're sitting there going,
I
okay.
am for demo purposes in front of a
Mhm.
crowd. I get it. Yeah,
But he's like feed the punch and then punch him with the other hand, and now you have to actually learn how to deal with the
Matter of
pressure.
fact, I mean, you know this as well. Like you cannot pass his programs. You cannot advance to the next level if you don't demonstrate with resistance in his
Yeah,
program. It's
yeah.
not happening. It's like
Oh, I've had to retest. I mean, not really retest, but he'll say like, Mike, everything looks good, but you know what? Shout out to one of my training partners, Freddie. Have Freddie train you again, and when he feeds you, I want him to resist, and I want him to really punch you, and I want him to
see
put it on. And I go, oh,
100.
okay, all right. So I'll call up Freddie. Freddie, we have to like re-record our video from the other night. And so there was a couple times where I had to do that
I
because
had to do
we
it
were from
once.
that feed a punch, do an entry,
Yeah.
whatever it may be, but um, yeah, that's what happened with
You know
that.
what's funny? I've had one reject so far, and I tell you, I was so angry at myself, so disgusted with myself.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm doing the instructor test for the C-Lob. Now, level 2, I did the staircase footwork, and I did
Mhm.
it well. but he put the question back in there. So I'm like, well, hey, I did this, and there, like, I don't need to review this. I'm just gonna put my mind into clinching the takedowns and
Hmm.
really just get up to speed and par, just so that it looks good. I freaking so how you set something up and see where you land again.
Hmm.
Mike, no exaggeration. I was 2 feet away from where I started, and he says everything else is great. And he showed me the picture. I was so disgusted with myself. So needless to say, redo.
Yeah, yeah. I had to make a little ladder out of cardboard, and it's like my little makeshift ladder on the
Yeah,
floor.
yeah, 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 yeah.
My wife's like, "What are you doing?" It's like I'm over there like constructing
I
a
know,
little
yeah. He's
house.
genius.
Yeah.
There, I get all my students, and I say this about Burton. His ability to dial in and make these programs and what to put in each level and the congruency between the levels is, in my experience, I'm not saying there's other people not out there, but
Mhm.
I haven't seen anybody better. Like that approach he has, man, it's just amazing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I owe a lot to him. He was a lot. We had so many conversations of what I need to do and to continue. He was like continue to teach and like he was kind of like the driving force behind like me actually like going out and teaching publicly. I owe a lot. I owe a lot to him.
Yeah,
So.
I do as well. I mean, like yeah, and the thing I about him that stands out, like he is still learning. Like I think a
Mhm.
lot of these guys, they get to the point, and it could be age but I think some of them they just like they get complacent, and
Yeah.
and where I don't go over the cross the line here, but him like I look at anybody that still is going out there and still absorbing information, like because man, he's setting the tone. I mean, the role model aspect of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I can't keep up with like all the stuff that he's constantly learning.
It's
Right.
it's insane. It's
For
insane.
myself, I try. I'm always constantly learning, and he's been one of those instructors to me that's like, Mike, learn as much as you can, train with as many people as you can, and continue to do that. Where other instructors, they might be like, no, this is this is a one stop
This is
shop.
all you need to this. You
Train
don't
here.
need to go anywhere. This is all you need to be. This is where you
Yeah,
need to
this is all you need. My system's the best. Whereas I'm even myself, I'm like, if there's something out there you like, try it out. Go to every seminar. Or,
be.
I
Yeah.
don't know Balintawak, so go check out the Balintawak guys. That I always promote that for my own students as well.
My partner here, Renee Marshall, man, thanks team for the kind word. That guy is insane. Um, okay, so they get there. Because I know you got. I just keeping time. You gotta go like a little before 3. Am I correct?
Yeah, about 5 till.
No worries, no worries. We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
What do because you're someone that seems open minded and looking at this stuff. What made you and we're going to get in, I mean, I want to get this out of the way, and then I want to get into your classes and your kids and all that. I think it's great you're teaching kids, but what do you look at when you look at knife and all that? Like, what got you interested, or like to even look at like Piper?
Okay. So, let me see. How can I make this? So I grew up here, Southern California. I have a lot of friends that were in gangs, um, and they know I trained, and so I was learning Filipino martial arts. And then I would be curious because I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. Some of my couple of my best friends were growing up were kind of they got into trouble and they were like in and out of what they call California Youth Authority,
Youth
CYA
authority for yeah, yeah.
Authority. So, and they would tell me about like in there they'd have to like make weapons and they'd have riots. There was like, especially in the 90s, like there's like race riots all the time. My friends being Mexican. Um, and I remember one time, I mean, I'm learning all this Filipino martial arts, right? I'm learning Sombrata and like knife generator
I think I
and
know where you're going with this. Yeah,
stuff. So I'm like, go ahead. I'm
yeah.
like, all right, I know what's up. I could defend myself with a knife, right? So I take a full knife and I'd give it to one of my buddies. I'd be like, try to stab me. And I couldn't defend myself. I was getting shanked. Like he's like, we would just do this and wah, 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 wah. Like they would just do, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, no one really. Filipino martial arts doesn't really. I mean, you can if you make that your emphasis, but then it made me go, okay, I gotta adjust the way I train with the knife. And then when I saw initially, I think it was Burton and you with the Piper, and then I saw how you moved, and I was like, that's how you can make it work. And then like the concept, I mean, we dabbled with the concept of the 2-on-1, right? Where we would like stop it, but then the way like Burton and yourself would handle the 2-on-1,
Bird
and
does barn catch. I
yeah,
do double catch, but it ends up in baseball bat grip.
yes, and it was Burton that was like, well, you could stop it, but then like the flipping it to the other hand and then getting stabbed with, that's when I was
Everything you're talking about, I went through. I was with
like,
Sayak and Antien. I was with Sayak.
yeah. Hmm.
3 of 9, templates, feeder mentality, yada yada. And I would go back, and I tell you, this was humiliating. Here I am, the FMA guy, going back to the grapplers I was mentioned before,
Hmm.
and I can't stop their freaking gross motor attacks. I'm
Yeah.
not even talking about fun. I'm talking. I could not stop with the methodology.
Hmm.
I was getting torn up. I mean, just there. And until I found like, oh wow, I'm not getting killed anymore. Like, and this is like
Yeah.
early 2000s. So I'm with you, man. Like, without going down a rabbit hole here and picking on anybody or any there, but it was illuminating, and I had the same experience that you just mentioned. Like, whoa, wait a minute, man. I need to like look. Honest, in my opinion, I need to look elsewhere.
Yeah. And like our training knives 5 years ago were like unsharpened aluminum, so it like actually hurt. And then luckily Steve, shout out to Steve Bunal, he made those nice padded ones that we could
Yeah,
train with and
they
not
look
worry
nice.
about
Yeah.
gouging someone's eyes out. Yeah, so I still, don't get me wrong, I still enjoy the Filipino martial arts aspect of the knife. I still enjoy,
The dueling and sparring,
it's really fun,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
Fanning and all the different drills and the disarming and I enjoy it. But then what I like to do is do that, but then go in and attack really hard and practice the other stuff. Like I add Piper into it.
And then when you throw Medusa, I mean,
Yeah.
like I threw these under all blade tech to be comprehensive,
Hmm.
having the dueling sparring, kind of a million approach, but then looking at the reptilian, like Medusa, Viper, like getting
Yeah.
close to proximity, you know what I mean? And
And
yeah,
that's
and I think,
what I like about Piper. Not to interrupt you, but
oh,
from
no,
there you could add the C lot, you could add the sweeps, you could add, and then you could just grab. There's like no, it's what's most efficient, right? Grabbing guys. I mean, you know,
yeah, I mean, C-Lot being a third, I mean, who knows the exact percentages? I mean, for Lloyd would just tell me to make it, it's broken up to 3 systems. Western boxing, your Zulu approach, and the C-Lot. And while Lloyd never took C-Lot individually, by that time I was well into with Burton, so I could recognize the levers, and from the letters, I mean, from the levers, I could see the Kenjin, I could see this and all that, but it totally fits absolutely 100%. Yeah.
yeah.
What is your what about the lens of, in other words, the way its interpretation to all the weapons that are legally defensible?
Well, I'm along with you. Like, I've actually kind of gravitated to not necessarily resorting to knife for defense, and I don't have it on me, but I'm doing the flashlight thing too now,
Yeah,
right? Like
told you, man. Told you.
shimmering. Yeah, I've been doing that to my class, and now there was a moment in time where like everyone was buying flashlights, you know, and yeah, you shine the light with 2,000 lumens in someone's eye, they're
Now
gonna,
your frame out.
it's like, uh,
Yeah,
and
I'll
I
be
try it out.
horrible.
like, hey, can I try it out or do it on me? And it's like
Yeah.
blinded, and
And you
it's
can carry it anywhere. It's like a household item. So you can go on a plane, you can travel with it, you can walk with it.
you can go
You know
on
what I mean?
planes.
I
I've
mean,
been
the whole
traveling.
thing, yeah. I mean, the whole thing behind Western Piper methods is that we introduce the knife first, so you get the rotational, you get the body mechanics and all that. But
Mhm,
then we make the transference to the other weapons once you have the good linear momentum, rotational momentum in there. But it's
mhm.
irresponsible. It would be irresponsible to say, okay, the knife is the number one answer. You're saying your
Yeah.
students are gel. I mean, you
There's so
know,
many videos now that you watch all the time, and I'll send them to Burton, or Burton will post stuff, and it's just like guys are in the streets, just like stabbing each other in the neck on the subway station, and just
crazy. Like
crazy things.
what doesn't
It's
make the news in the New York subways, man, is frightening.
and there's nothing you could do. I mean, you're going to jail. I mean,
Yeah.
they're oh, it was self defense. Like it'll show on video that
Yeah, I
I took
mean, there's
it too far.
enough
You know what I mean? Like,
video
yeah.
collaboration going around that
Mhm,
good luck explaining that why you went to that extreme in self-defense or not.
mhm.
Then they find out your background. Now comes a civil suit. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
telling you, man, it's
yeah. Like you
yeah,
should have known better, Dean.
yeah, I mean, it's crazy,
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, the flashlight is the big thing in WPM. After you get the basics in that level two, we tell you put the knife away. Let's see, now that because I mean you got to be responsible. If you're teaching knife, you have to look at all. You got to be responsible in that. So
Hmm.
when you go see Heil, man, you have some good stuff to give them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh man, I
I'm
say
gonna
hi.
give you like what to give, and then give them the future. Like I'll give you some level two stuff.
Yeah.
All the twirls and the bot. So what do you? Okay, let's get to you because you're doing some good stuff, obviously. So you got your school and all that, but you're teaching kids too. So I guess, do you have a separate curriculum for the kids? Dare I say, maybe watered down for them, or is it the same curriculum, or is it two different curriculums versus your adults
They're
versus?
going Piper too now. I'm kidding.
I'm telling you, man, I got them shimmering and major
5 year old.
twirl.
Um, it's I don't want to say watered down. It's just not as complicated. I make it
Yeah,
less
okay,
complicated for them, right?
I
They
got
do
that.
the basic kickboxing and striking from Muay
Yeah,
Thai and Jeet Kune Do, and
nice.
of course I pull out the mats and teach them the basic self defense. Like the common playground stuff: headlocks, escaping from headlocks, escaping from the
Yeah,
mount, and even like back takes and stuff, because lots of kids do jujitsu now. And then I do teach
yeah,
them
no,
Screama. And as a matter of fact, I was telling Brandon the other day, I said, hey, I might be the only group that's teaching 5 year olds and up KI, right? Like they're learning the KI numbering system. They're learning like the basic
nice.
KI stuff.
Oh,
They're learning,
fantastic.
you know, tatlong bao. Like they're learning that kind of footwork. My kids like KI.
Oh, that's
They find it
fantastic,
interesting. And
man.
then it's always fun for a kid to pick up a plastic polymer sword
Yeah,
from Heil, and they love that stuff. So teaching them that. One of the guys that I train with, this guy, shout out to Elaine Rono. He was also an instructor with Inasano, and then he left Inasano and was training with Eric Paulson, and he's like certified in like STX and CSW. And on top of that, he was a backyard student of Master Tooper. So yeah, he was a backyard student of Master Toops back in the day.
and CSW to boot. Oh,
So he has all this stuff, and now he trains regularly with me. I have him helping out. He teaches. He basically runs the kids class because he loves teaching them that stuff. So between him and I, my wife and Freddie, who's been training with. He's been training longer than me. He's like my senior. There's a lot of like knowledge to pull from, and it makes the kids class really fun. And of course, just like anything, I mean, we play games with kids,
yeah, you got to make it
Yeah.
even. You got to make it. You can't be too like when I had my kids class 20 years ago. My gosh, um, yeah, I did the Atienza soft stick program, and we did some basic grappling and all that. But it's so much fun, and they can do it. Like everybody said, you're committing, financial suicide that you're going to stop teaching traditional arts to them. I'm like,
We
no,
have them play like
no.
stick tag. It's
That's
basically
yeah. Oh, I used
stick
to, what I used
tag.
to do with the action flex. They used to love it.
Yeah,
Mass
action
attack.
flex. Yeah,
Like they would have teams. Oh, they used to love that. And that was
yeah.
so much fun watching
They,
them, watching
they
kids running around hitting each other.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have my kids spar, with the
Yeah,
light stick, and they'll do that.
yeah,
They'll
we
have
did. Oh my,
sparring
yeah.
days and kickboxing sparring days and all that. But then they really love the games, um, you know, stick tag, but you only can feed angle one. If they hit you in any angle, then it doesn't count. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would isolate either jab or there, and I would say shoulder, shoulder below.
Hmm.
You hit somebody in the head. I know it's accident. You're gonna have to sit out. Right? You know what I
Hmm.
mean? But yeah, no, it was so. I do miss those days. It's a lot of work, man. When you're running school, kids, it's a lot. It is a commitment, as you
It is,
know.
and then
And,
there's days where they're just not feeling it either, right? There's not.
and then the summer blues,
Mhm.
because you're competing with vacations
Yeah,
and what I mean, right? The summer's always, you had to do the camps to keep. I'm telling you,
mhm.
I do miss it though. I mean, there was a lot of fun. So, how do you do in your ranking structure? Are you doing by belts with the kids?
I haven't put in a ranking structure, but I'm planning to because I know Guru Alvin does. So we just kind of got to get in line and
I did
align
belts
it.
with the kids. It really worked out really well.
Mhm.
They could see that, that incremental, tangible, what they get, based on their each level had a curriculum course. Adults, I kind of went with the, trying to,
Levels, phases.
yeah, exactly. You made a print, you know what I mean? But
Mhm.
yeah, the belts, I found it was a great thing to do,
Yeah, I mean, my kids are probably they'll be like, "I'm a black belt, Dad," like them.
Yeah, but I think it's great what you're doing, like that mixed arts and and there I love when I hear when people do that. You know what I mean? Because I just think it's just so beneficial for the kids that they're getting some of the stuff, but particularly like what's going on in the world today. You know what I mean? It's just
Hmm.
nuts.
Yeah,
Oops.
and the kids
All
love it.
right.
So
Oh, my camera. All right, the other
um,
camera popped on. I got a camera issue, but at least the other one default came back in. I don't know. All right, well, you can still see me. Good. Okay.
yeah, I can still
Um,
see you.
it's afraid that I think it's time for a new camera. But anyway, so what else you got? So okay, you got the school, you got that. What else you got cooking?
Well, aside from that, let's see, the weekend of July 17th, my wife's family is up in the Bay Area. She's
Yeah.
originally from Stockton. So we're gonna go visit them. But while I'm there, I'm gonna teach a like a small group knife workshop in San Francisco to some friends, probably like no more than 10 people. That's going to be on Saturday the 17th, and then the day I arrive, which is Thursday, I plan on hanging out with Kyle Campbell's group and maybe teach some stuff. I think Kyle just wants to like spar and beat me up, but we'll see. But yeah, I plan on hanging out with those guys. Um, let's see, July 20. I'll have to get the dates. Actually, Ron Baliki is actually going to come down to the school on a weekday and teach like a little workshop. So I'll be posting something up.
Oh, all right.
So Guru Ron will come down. He's been traveling with his wife, Diana, and they're gonna be down in town for Comic Con. I think Comic Con San Diego, and
Okay.
he hit us up. What's good about Guran, and a lot of people don't know this. He was teaching on Saturdays at Team Karate Center, which is near me. It's Farbors. He's like an OG karate guy out here in the valley where we live, and
Oh,
he
all
was
right.
teaching on Saturdays, and it was like $20 like for a drop in. And then there would be like all these people. there that really didn't have any um, uh, FMA experience. Some of them do, but and then we discovered him, or Elaine, who's with me, is good friends with them. That's how we ended up over there. And now we were like going there every Saturday. It was like fun. And then he got busy and he stopped doing that, and he's traveling with Diana now. So, and I don't even know. I think he might not be living in California anymore. So, I'm not sure where he lives, but um, maybe back in Chicago, I think. But yeah, he hit me up. So we're gonna have a little workshop on a Thursday. I'll have to get the dates. Um, and then this is a this is kind of a letting it out of the
I
bag.
think I know where you're going with this one.
In September, Richardson's gonna be here for a like a 4 hour
So
workshop.
you're doing a 1 day, right?
1 day, 4 hour workshop. He's actually gonna be in LA, and he hit me up a few weeks back and said, "Hey, I'm gonna be there." So, and I was like, "Of course, you know."
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It'll be a smaller workshop because we're gonna be pulling out the mats, and the place probably can comfortably fit like maybe 20, maybe 25 people.
Yeah, but
So
then
I'm
you
going to
can
cap it.
dial.
Probably most of it's going to be my students, but there will be some space, and I'll be posting that up.
Do you know? And yeah, I told him as well. I mean, yeah, like
If
yeah,
you
when you
can
know,
come down,
yeah,
that'd be
no, when you know the date, if I can
yeah.
make it happen, I will 100% make it happen.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Kyle said, teach some Piper.
Okay, we got you, Kyle.
Oh, we got there, there.
Richard Pock wants to go to Comic Con.
Yeah, so we'll have to. Yeah, I'll get you to tune up and.
Oh, the pod. He has to go there. His Padres beat my Dodgers last night, but it's okay.
So awesome. So you got him. That's oh yeah, yeah. I would. I know there's a couple weekends. Let me just see here. Is it October? Is it so? Is it September or is it October?
It's
September?
going to be in September. I don't know the date off the top of my head. I'll let you guys know. I'll let you know.
Yeah, because I know the 6th and 7th. I have two camps,
Hmm.
Piper camps. One in New York, 6th to 7th. Canada 621. I can't get out of the Canada one. New York one, there's enough that, if he was coming out, I would make, you know what I mean? So, but it's week. I'm assuming it's weekend, correct?
It's going to be a weekend. It's going to be on a Sunday.
On a Sunday.
On a
So,
Sunday. Yeah.
yeah, when you know, but I mean, the only one I can absolutely not make happen would be
Yeah.
the weekend of 621.
Yeah. And then I got like Janelle's on here. I got to squeeze her into. I'd love to get a workshop with her and SBL folks. And it's funny, Heil. I ran into Guru Roger at FMA Block Party, and of course, Guru Roger's like, "Hey, I'm supposed to teach at your place," and I'm like,
Oh,
"Yes,
yeah.
cool, yeah, I owe you one too." So I got to get him in there too before the end of the year. Um, so yeah, that's gonna pretty much keep us busy as far
Yeah,
as
sounds
hosting
it.
stuff for the rest of the year.
Yeah, yeah. No, no. That's awesome. Trying to think. What, let's, because I know you got to cut out in a few. What, as far as future personal goals, like what are your future personal goals, like far as martially speaking?
Well, I'm going to continue to teach, and um, I'm always trying to learn, right? So I'm doing the KI stuff, with Brandon, like intermediate. Of course, at some point, get to like advanced level, however long that takes. Um, like with like Janelle stuff, like I just have to find the time. I would love to like learn more the SBL stuff, especially while I think I still have the youth in me to do some of those moves. Um, yeah, like those are the main two. At some point, I'll probably find another style to play with and learn. Whether it be flamenco, which is very closely related to Ki. With Guru Roger, like down the street from me. Um, I was dabbling with Balintawak a while back, but I never got a chance. I mean, it's always fascinating to learn that stuff.
Mm.
Um, so it's like, one of those things. Just keep training, and you know, jujitsu. I'm going to continue to do that until I can no longer do it. Hopefully, what it is you just train in a way where you don't injure yourself
Yeah, you just gotta go
100%
out
every
smart.
class.
Yeah,
I have a good school where there, even there's young guys there, 20 and 30s, like they all know that I'm the older guy. I mean, over there, jiu-jitsu, and if you're in your 50s, you're like an old, kind of like one of the older guys. There's probably like two or three other people in their 50s over there. So, you got to learn to pace yourself there. You can't go like full throttle every time. And then you can have like the longevity to keep training. um, so that advancing in that, but that how that goes. That's just one of those things where you just do it, and eventually things happen. Yeah,
yeah, for sure, for sure. Just gotta be smarter, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Awesome, awesome. Yeah. So yeah, let's.
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just
I
change,
mean, you got to
change
like
these
let
digits.
go of your ego. People put you in a bad position. When the younger me will fight to the death to not get tapped
I
out. No,
know, but man, then
you
you.
got it. You got it. It's
That's
fine.
what I mean, because otherwise, in the next week or 2 weeks, man, you're out of commission. You
Mhm.
can't do anything, and it's just like, yeah, it's just stupid, right? You know. Um, yeah, but the I was gonna say there. Awesome. No, yeah. Let me know when you Bert, or yeah, one of you. I'm sure I'll hear from one of you too.
And I'll get together with you next week too, on the Piper stuff.
Yeah, I know. I'll give you like you give man, you'll make like an incredible presentation to them. Like you'll hit on. I'll have you. Yeah, we'll map it out. You'll have to record. You'll be good to go. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, just let me know it works, and it won't take long.
Hey, shout out to Paul Factora that just logged on. He's that Paul Factora actually, he was the first guy I knew that was training in Filipino martial arts. I grew up with them. Um, he had a heavy bag and like collie sticks, and he was training with, I think he was with, um, he was at the IMB. You know,
IMV over
yeah,
Vasivo. Yeah.
With Guru Richard, rest in peace. And so he was. I met him because DJing and those kind of things. We used to mess around with his records and DJ equipment. He probably hated us, but 'cause but he's the one who he has that Way of the Bali song video that should be coming out soon, and hopefully he'll complete that soon.
Oh, nice. If he
Yeah.
wants to come on, you know what? I've never brought somebody on exclusively on the Bella song. So if he wants to come
He's,
on,
he's the man. Well, that's his name, Paul the Man. He'd be perfect for it.
yeah. I never, I mean, I got one. I can tell you right now, I'm not good at it. Never really played around with it. It's one of those things like you feel like you have to get. You know what I
Well,
mean?
well, for Piper, Bali song's good if you just do like the reverse script opening.
Yeah, that would be my
Right there, right?
experimental Bella song. Yeah, you're not
Yeah.
gonna see me doing all those twirls and flips. No, it's
Oh
going
yeah, yeah.
here and I'm going to major twirls or whatever. I'm not gonna be doing that. No, that's for sure. Um, Awesome,
Yes.
man. Well, hey, appreciate you coming on. I really do. I know it was
For having me.
not the longest or most noticed, but we made it work. Yeah, just hit me up for what works for you next week, and we'll do it.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
No,
Thanks everyone.
yeah, anytime, anytime, man, anytime. I'll hear from you. So yeah.
All right. Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye.
That wraps up. And my camera, I'm going to take this thing and throw it out the window. Not that's going to do any good. But at any rate, who is next? Marshall Mack, I can tell you who's next. I think we got Dwight Woods coming up. Darcy, that guy that plays in the jungle, Woods. um, Tim Hartman and Mike Ropoglu. I'm hoping I pronounced that correctly. Early Modernies. Actually, that's gonna be next week. That will be FMA discussion. The previous were Marshall Mack and whoever else is gonna come on. So yeah, I'm getting back in the FMA discussion. I got Marshall Mack going, so in there. So yeah, so whoever that wants to come on, just please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Sometimes that's actually the easiest. Um, Yeah, too short. He had to go, so not my fault on the too short. Um, but yeah, so yeah, let me know. Janelle, if you there, Paul on the bottle song, just send me a message and we'll make it happen. All right, guys. Next Wednesday, always at 7 p.m. Marshall Meh, FMA discussion. It could be during the day, it could be at night, weekends, whenever it kind of works out to coordinate with the guest. All right, folks. See you next time.